You want to know the quickest way to lose control of your life? React to everything. Every insult, every look, every comment. When you react, you hand people the remote control to your emotions. But here's the truth. Nobody deserves that much power over you. The strongest person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't break, doesn't take the bait. When you react to nothing, you keep all the control. Think about it. Someone tries to get under your skin. They want you angry. They want you emotional. The moment you bite, they win. But if you stay calm, if you stay still, suddenly the game is over. They can't control what they can't touch. Silence is power. Patience is power. And the pause between what happens to you and how you respond, that's where your strength lives. This isn't about ignoring life. It's about mastering it. You don't control people. You don't control situations, but you do control yourself. That's enough. That's everything. So the next time someone pushes your buttons, remember this. Your peace is not up for grabs. Don't trade it for their drama. Don't react. Choose stillness. Choose control. Silence is power because it is the strongest form of discipline that exists. In a world where everyone rushes to be heard, where opinions fly faster than thoughts, and where voices clash louder than reason, silence stands out as strength. It is not weakness. It is not avoidance. It is self-mastery. The less you react, the more control you hold. When someone provokes you, they are inviting you into a game where they control the rules. If you accept the invitation with an immediate reaction, you're already playing on their terms. But when you remain silent, when you withhold your reaction, you refuse to give them the power they crave. You keep the rules in your favor because silence shifts the pressure back to them. Think about the last time someone tried to trigger you. Maybe they insulted you, maybe they doubted you, maybe they challenged you. The natural instinct is to fire back, to prove them wrong, to match their energy. But silence creates a pause that unsettles them more than words ever could. They expect resistance, but what they meet is stillness. That stillness forces them to sit with their own words, their own emotions, their own chaos. Silence is not agreement, it's awareness. It's the ability to see the trap and walk around it instead of falling in. There is a saying that not everything deserves your energy, and silence proves that. If you responded to every opinion, every insult, every small irritation, you would live exhausted and constantly pulled out of character. But silence filters what matters. It keeps you from pouring energy into battles that don't deserve you. It protects your focus. It protects your peace. And when you protect your peace, you protect your power. Because power doesn't come from being the loudest. It comes from being the one in control. Silence also gives you clarity. In silence, you hear what others miss. You observe details. You notice patterns. You see the truth behind words. Reactions often blur judgment, but silence sharpens it. When you don't rush to answer, you allow yourself to think, to choose, to respond with intention rather than impulse. That is where strength lives, not in the reaction, but in the pause before it. This doesn't mean you never speak. It doesn't mean you bury your thoughts or swallow your voice. It means you learn to decide when your voice carries weight and when your silence carries more. Some moments demand words, but most moments demand restraint. And the restraint of silence is what gives your words greater impact when you finally decide to use them. The less you react, the more people realize they cannot control you. They cannot sway you with insults, they cannot manipulate you with emotions, and they cannot shake your foundation with noise. You become unshakable, untouchable, unmovable. That is real control. That is real strength. So hold your silence like a weapon. Use it like a shield. And remember that every time you choose not to react, you choose to win. Reactions fuel chaos because every time we allow our emotions to run the show, we hand over the keys to our peace. Emotional reactions often feel satisfying in the moment. A quick burst of anger, a sharp response, or a defensive comeback. But what they really do is surrender control. The person who triggered you now knows exactly where your buttons are. And worse, they know how easily you'll let them push them. When you react without thought, you are no longer driving the situation. You've let someone else take the wheel of your emotions. That is why reactions rarely solve anything. Instead, they multiply problems, escalate conflicts, and create outcomes you didn't intend. Think about how quickly one reaction can spiral. Someone insults you and you snap back. Suddenly the conversation turns into an argument. That argument sparks more anger, and what started as a small comment now feels like a war. Reactions do not calm fires. They pour gasoline on them. And what's left behind is more damage than the original problem ever caused. Chaos spreads when emotions lead, because emotions don't think ahead, they only think right now. They crave immediate release, not long-term peace. The truth is, people who want control over you know this. They know that if they can provoke you, they can own you. They can make you act out of character. They can turn your focus away from what matters and trap you in a storm of their choosing. But when you refuse to react, when you don't take the bait, you deny them that power. Instead of letting them pull you into chaos, you anchor yourself in control. The less you react, the less power they hold. This doesn't mean you ignore every situation. It means you learn to respond instead of react. A response comes from clarity, patience, and intention. A reaction comes from impulse, heat, and ego. When you pause before answering, you take back control of the moment. You shift from chaos to order. You show yourself and others that you are not moved by noise, but guided by strength. Emotional reactions also rob you of energy. Every outburst drains focus, every argument steals time, and every impulsive decision leaves regret. Chaos thrives where energy is wasted. But when you discipline your emotions, you conserve your power. You save your energy for what actually matters, instead of scattering it across battles that don't. That conservation is what allows you to lead, to build, to win. So the next time you feel that surge of anger or that pull to clap back, remember that it is a test. Someone wants to see if they can pull you into their storm. Someone wants to see if they can control you. Don't give them that victory. Don't trade your peace for their chaos. Control the reaction, and you control the outcome. Because reactions fuel chaos, but restraint fuels power. Control starts within, because the only thing you truly own in this life is yourself. Your thoughts, your choices, your reactions. You can't control people. You can't control what they say, how they act, or what they think of you. You can't stop the world from being unfair. And you can't predict every situation that comes your way, but you can control how you show up in those moments. You can control your response. And that difference is everything. Most people waste their energy trying to control others. They want people to respect them, to treat them better, to apologize, to behave the way they think is right. But waiting on others to change before you find peace is a lifetime of frustration. The truth is, people don't bend to your expectations. Life doesn't adjust itself to your comfort. What changes is how you decide to meet it. The greatest freedom comes from letting go of the illusion that you can control others and embracing the fact that your power lies in mastering yourself. When someone disrespects you, you can't force them to value you, but you can choose whether you lose your composure or stand with dignity. When someone lies about you, you can't control their mouth, but you can control your silence, your patience, and the truth that eventually speaks louder than rumors. When life throws obstacles your way, you can't control the storm, but you can control how you sail through it. That's where strength is born, in the choice, not in the circumstance. Control from within also means refusing to be ruled by impulse. Anger, jealousy, fear, pride, all of these emotions demand quick reactions, but quick reactions often leave scars. Self-control is not about pretending you don't feel emotions. It's about not letting those emotions become your driver. When you control your response, you turn storms into lessons and pain into progress. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I do with it? That shift is what separates weakness from strength. There's a power in being steady when others are unstable. People notice when you don't break under pressure, when you don't react to insults, when you don't let chaos drag you down. They see someone who cannot be manipulated because their control doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. That kind of presence is unshakable, and when you live with that mindset, you stop being at the mercy of every bad day, every rude person, every unfair outcome. You rise above it. So control starts within, and it always will. You can't control the world, but you don't need to. You only need to control the one person who matters most in every situation. You. Your response determines your peace, your strength, and your future. Master that, and nothing outside of you can take your power away. Pause creates clarity, because in the heat of the moment, emotions distort reality. When anger rises, when pride is stung, when frustration takes over, the first instinct is to react fast and loud. But speed fueled by emotion almost always leads to regret. That's why the pause matters. Taking a breath before reacting is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the act of stepping out of the storm long enough to see the whole sky. That pause is where control lives and where better choices are born. Most conflicts in life don't come from what happened, they come from how we responded in the moment. Words spoken without pause can't be taken back. Decisions made in heat can't be undone. But when you give yourself a few seconds of silence, you create a gap between impulse and action. And in that gap, you find space to think. You find space to weigh consequences, to choose patience, to see the situation for what it really is instead of what your emotions want it to be. That pause can be the difference between escalation and resolution, between burning a bridge and building one. The pause doesn't have to be long. It could be one deep breath. It could be a short silence. It could be walking away for a moment before speaking, but that little act is powerful. It says, I own my response. I decide how this moment plays out. Instead of letting anger speak for you, you let clarity guide you. Instead of reacting from emotion, you respond from strength. And people notice. They see that you cannot be provoked easily, that your buttons aren't so simple to push. That alone shifts the balance of power. Pausing also gives you perspective. Emotions shrink your vision to the problem in front of you, but clarity expands it to see the bigger picture. Maybe the insult isn't really about you. Maybe the conflict isn't worth the energy. Maybe silence will solve more than words ever could. You can only see that when you stop long enough to think. A pause teaches you that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every comment deserves your reaction. Sometimes the smartest move is no move at all. The pause is also protection. It shields you from making permanent choices out of temporary emotions. It saves relationships, reputations, and peace of mind. It allows you to look back without regret because you didn't let impulse decide for you. In the long run, that habit of pausing builds confidence. You begin to trust yourself because you know you don't move recklessly. You know you can handle pressure without breaking. So take the pause, breathe before speaking, think before acting. It's not hesitation, it's strategy. It's the mark of someone who values clarity over chaos and peace over pride, because in that pause you gain control. And with that control, you gain the freedom to choose the best version of yourself every single time. Detachment protects peace because not everything that comes your way deserves a reaction, and not every negative force deserves a seat at your table. The world is filled with noise, opinions, criticism, envy, disrespect, and endless attempts to pull you into drama that doesn't belong to you. If you let yourself attach to all of it, you will spend your life fighting battles that drain your energy and rob your focus. But the moment you learn to step back, to detach from the negativity, something shifts. The noise keeps coming, but it no longer shakes you. The negativity doesn't disappear, but it loses its grip on you. Detachment is not indifference. It is not pretending you don't care. It is caring enough about your own peace to stop renting out space in your head to people and problems that don't deserve it. Detachment is strength. It is the choice to say, this is not mine to carry, and put it down. When you stop reacting to every insult, every rumor, every attempt to pull you into conflict, you rise above it. You refuse to let others dictate your emotions, and that refusal is what keeps you free. People who thrive on negativity want one thing, a reaction. They want your anger, your defense, your energy, because the moment you react, they win. They know they have your attention, your emotions, your time. But when you stay detached, when you don't engage, they are left with nothing. They lose their control because you never gave them permission to have it. Silence, distance, and composure are the walls that protect your peace. Detachment also gives you perspective. The things that once felt so heavy, so personal, so urgent, begin to shrink when you no longer feed them with your attention. What someone says about you is not who you are. What someone does to you is a reflection of them, not of your worth. When you detach from their negativity, you see that clearly. You stop personalizing what was never about you to begin with. And in that clarity, you gain freedom from carrying burdens that don't belong to you. Peace is not found in controlling the world. It is found in controlling what you allow to touch your spirit. Detachment is that filter. It allows you to move through life lighter, calmer, and stronger. It allows you to protect your energy for what truly matters: your goals, your values, your growth, and the people who deserve your presence. Negativity will always exist, but you don't have to invite it inside. So when the world throws its noise, don't react. Don't feed it. Don't let it drag you into chaos. Step back. Detach. Protect what is yours. Because once you stop reacting to negativity, it has no power over you. It loses its grip. And in that space you find the calm, unshakable strength of real peace. Respond with intention, because how you choose to handle a moment defines the direction it takes. Most people live on autopilot, reacting to whatever happens around them. Someone insults them, they fire back. Someone disrespects them, they lose their temper. Someone disagrees, they get defensive. But reacting is not the same as responding. A reaction is fast, emotional, and often reckless. A response is deliberate, measured, and rooted in strength. When you choose to respond with intention, You take control of the moment instead of letting the moment control you. The difference between reaction and response may seem small, but it changes everything. A reaction escalates conflict while a response can diffuse it. A reaction gives away your power while a response protects it. A reaction is about proving something in the moment, while a response is about preserving something greater, your peace, your dignity, your long-term outcome. That's why intention matters. It's not just about what you say or do. It's about why you say it and what result you're aiming for. Responding with intention starts with awareness. It means pausing long enough to ask yourself, what outcome do I want here? Do I want to win an argument, or do I want to keep my peace? Do I want to prove someone wrong, or do I want to stay aligned with who I am? When you respond from that place of awareness, your actions carry weight. They are no longer impulsive, they are purposeful. And purpose is what makes you unshakable. Calm responses also send a powerful message to others. They show that you are not easily provoked, not easily manipulated, not easily moved off center. People learn quickly that they cannot control you with noise or pressure. They see that you operate on your own terms, not theirs. That kind of presence commands respect, even from those who may not like you. It makes you someone who cannot be underestimated because you cannot be thrown off balance. Responding with intention doesn't mean staying silent all the time. It doesn't mean avoiding every conflict. It means speaking and acting in a way that serves your highest values and goals. Sometimes that means addressing disrespect with calm firmness. Sometimes it means walking away without a word. Sometimes it means saying less when others expect you to say more. Whatever the choice, it is yours and it is deliberate. That is what makes it powerful. When you live this way, you stop being tossed around by circumstances and emotions. You stand steady in every situation, no matter how loud or chaotic it becomes. You learn that control is not about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself, and self-mastery is what makes you untouchable. So choose calm, choose clarity, choose responses that serve you, not reactions that betray you. Because when you respond with intention, you stop giving the world the power to shake you. You become steady, you become strong, you become unshakable. At the end of it all, the message is simple. Real power is not in controlling people, but in mastering yourself. When you react to nothing, you control everything. Silence becomes your strength. Restraint becomes your shield, and intention becomes your weapon. Chaos only grows when you feed it, but peace remains when you protect it. Every pause you take, every moment you choose calm over chaos, every time you refuse to give away your energy, you rise. You show the world that nothing outside of you can shake what is steady inside of you. Control starts within, and when you live from that place, no insult, no circumstance, and no negativity can define you. You own your response, and by owning it, you own your future. So hold your peace close, carry your strength quietly, and remember this truth. You don't need to react to prove who you are. Your control speaks louder than any reaction ever could. Thank you.